country where everyone gets a fair shot and everyone does their fair share.
We will not dump the tough issues. We will lead. We will not spend the next 4 years
All that noise is on purpose. It's to keep you distracted from what's being done to you. It is an extraordinary country. It's extraordinary in this. On the one hand, we're a model. Many people in the world, a great many people in the world, still look to the United States as the model of democracy, of individual liberty, of respect for human rights. At the same time, we're the most violent nation. Born in war, we have involved ourselves in some kind of war or invasion or covert operation against some other country in nearly every single year of our history. Genocide against our own indigenous population, quite deliberate. I mean, you know, they didn't have the word genocide then, but that's what they intended. That's what they said. Wipe them out. The only good Indian. I don't have to finish that sentence. The only country to have used weapons of mass destruction on mass civilian targets. Our economic divide is vast. Our human rights record has become abysmal. Only 1 in 20 people in the world is an American. But if you look at the people who are locked up in the world, 1 out of 4 is an American. What does that say about us? Americans have been the subject of a century-long experiment in propaganda, and that experiment has worked. American households account for twice as many viewing hours of television as other developed countries. Americans exhibit a very different set of attitudes than other people in the world, even in countries most like ours. The belief in American exceptionalism is especially striking when you consider that we've fallen behind other countries on every measure of social progress, of economic well-being. Americans don't live in the real America. They live in a virtual America that's been conjured into their heads by a lifetime of mental and emotional conditioning. The number of Americans with real influence in this country is very small, and their influence is very great. America has always been the land of the wealthy few and the marginalized many, but in the last 30 years, the great divergence between the very wealthy and everyone else has been extraordinary. And the bottom 80% of Americans have to share a mere 7% of the country's financial wealth. The rest belongs to a fairly small number of people. The owners. They are the owners. In this election cycle, millions of people give money to the candidates, but at best $100, $200 at a time. Far, far more in campaign contributions comes from a very small number of people. And a candidate can't compete without the patronage of very wealthy donors. The owners own the politicians too. The majority of Americans face a very harsh truth. The wealth of their nation, the wealth they built, has been plundered. And their lives are poor now. Poor, powerless, without prospects. When I teach college math, it's very difficult to get students to understand how natural growth works, especially population growth. We think of growth as something steady. You know, you grow just so much in a given period of time, and in the next period of time you grow that much again, and so on and so forth. But that's not how natural growth works. In natural growth, every so often you add double what you added before. And then double that the next time. And then double that the next time. And you can go from a little bit to a little bit more to a little bit more and then suddenly to way too much in the blink of an eye. The human species has already overshot its planetary environment. There are too many of us right now. I don't mean too many of us for comfort. I mean there are too many of us to live. Estimates of the carrying capacity of the planet vary widely, but those estimates that take account of these facts, they're a lot lower than the current population. It's especially important for Americans to understand, because if everyone on the planet used resources at the rate that we use resources, the world would already be a desert, knee-deep in garbage. We'd all be dead. Because we're still a democracy, the people could take back their government. Partisanship is the main tool used by those in power to stay in power. Partisanship is the trap that Americans have fallen into. It prevents them taking back their government. The reason is not hard to understand. A partisan vote is a vote against. And if you can get people to vote against rather than to vote for, they can never take charge. If you find that you're always voting against and not voting for the changes that you would like to see, in a democracy, it's not rational to hope that those changes will ever come about. So our patriotic duty is not to grab a gun, shoot the enemy. It's to grasp the hand of our neighbor, to acknowledge our differences without ill will, and search together for the common ground on which our future has to stand. We can certainly destroy our future separately. In fact, we're likely to. But building our future is something we can only do together.